Thanks for staying with us here on This Morning on TVC News. We've been talking about the cholera outbreak in Nigeria and how it's been affecting people, businesses, and also because it's a public health concern, and what we need to do if anyone contracts it or sees the signs and symptoms, and what next line of action such person should take. And we've been educated, we're being educated by public health experts and a medical officer of health at the Fellow in LCDA in Lagos State, who is also the Vice Chairman, Medical Guild Association of all Lagos State employed doctors, Dr. Japhet Olubogi. Thank you so much for your time on the show. I'd like to know, because we are talking about this, it's just to create awareness, but it's one thing for us to talk about it. It's another thing for people to be aware, for those who want to know. How much of public awareness do you think has been created in the consciousness of the public about the dangers this disease poses?
Well, right now, I think the average man on the street is aware that there's cholera outbreak going on. I believe that the average man on the street is also aware of what they need to do to curb or prevent them from, coming down from the cholera outbreak. Another thing is to be aware, and the other thing is to actually inculcate what you have heard or practice what you have seen. Awareness cannot, be enough. So we can and should continue to create awareness, and this is why we are all hands on deck, trying to create awareness to the teaming Nigerians on this. As government is doing its own. Health experts, medical associations, nursing associations, environmental associations, everyone has been creating some sort of awareness or the other on this. And I want to urge that we continue to do this until we have a change of habit and a change of practice, and until we decide and see that the outbreak is declining.
We have Mr. George joining us from Ikeja. Mr. George, please make your point.
Good morning, Ibrahim, and good morning to the doctor. Ibrahim, I am just wondering within myself, why do we like to apply the fire brigade approach to everything in our country? There are government agencies in almost every state in this country that oversee public health management and environment in the different states. In Lagos State here, we used to have the people they call Wole, health inspectors that go to homes and premises to inspect the sanity of such, the sanitary conditions of such places. These people are still there. They are being paid. But why is it that it's only when there's a break of, an outbreak of disease that you now begin to see them? The countries we look for visa to go and japa to, they pay attention to these things. That is why their places are looking different. There are public toilets. The public toilets are not even enough. The few ones that are in existence, go there and see how it looks like. Why can't we do the important things? We always like to say other countries are better. But what they did to become better, we are not ready to do it. Let us change our attitude. Good morning.
Thank you so much, George from Ikeja. Japhet, that's quite a very important information or important point that has been noted by Mr. George from Ikeja. There are some, just like I asked a little earlier, there are some slum areas where you find people living, very dirty, even when it rains, especially now that the rain is coming. You see how dirty the place is. You wouldn't even want to, pass through those channels or those places to get to another place or another street or anything. What do you think? Do you think the government is staying back to some extent, unconcerned about what they need to do about these places?
No, I totally disagree. The government is not staying back on their duties concerning that, because people like us actually work hand in hand with the environmental health officers, whom we refer to as Wole. And one of the trends I have personally noted on the field is that when you, commission the environmental health officers to go to a particular area where you have noted bad practices, bad sanitary practices, or people even channeling their waste into gutters and drainages and even canals around them, is that when they want to, enforce the law on them, some of us will pick up our phones and start calling people in higher authority, telling them that so people in their compound that they're trying to, lock down their compound or find them and all that. So what I'm trying to say is that people are, discouraging these officers from carrying out their duties by muscling them and bullying them. So I will not say categorically that it is all the officers that are carrying out their duty, but to what extent, to the extent that we have seen, sometimes Nigerians create a roadblock from some of these officers to carry out their duties. We have seen some areas in East Lagos where people channel their pipes, water pipes, through gutters, where people even channel their waste into gutters. And I have personally reported to the authority on a number of times, and we have sent men to the field to enforce and, stop this kind of habit. But when people come out, it's like the same thing that happens when government tries to clear a bucket from a roadside and people begin to revolt, or you try to, stop people from carrying out a particularly bad practice, and people begin to revolt. So we have to all decide that we want to stop these practices. As we speak, even in town,
okay.
You see a lot of people
Jaffe, please hold your thought. Hold your thought. You carry on from there. Ogundele from Ijebu-Ode in Ogun State is joining us on the show. Ogundele, please make your point.
Thank you very much, the doctor. I thank the doctor and you that is anchoring the program. You see, Nigerians have to change our attitude, our environment, because you have to clean your environment. By the time you clean your environment very well, it will be very difficult to your water, the water you drink, everything. We have to change our attitude. Nigerians, we are too lawless. And this is why this is coming upon us. Look at during the time of Ebola. Look at during the time of COVID and everything. We need to be very clean. Cleanliness is next to God. Our environment, we have to take care of it. We cannot wait for government to do everything for us. There are some parts we have to play. We have to clean our environment and let everywhere be clean. You can come on top of a hot eba. No, it is not possible. Your environment must be very, very clean. The water you will drink, where you are sleeping, all these things are necessary. We cannot just continue to put everything on government. The government has its own part. The citizens have their own part. Look at us. You go to some places in Lagos, you see very dirty. You see people eating under the gutter, mosquito, everything. No. So all we need to do is to change our attitude. We cannot, America does not become what it becomes just one day. It's gradual. Look at Ghana. When I was going to Liberia, I passed through Ghana. Look at the environment, very clean. So we need to change our attitude, and God bless you for this program.
Thank you very much, Ogundele. Thank you. And that reminds me, Japheth, of growing up. Every Saturday we used to doing, or was it last Saturday of the month, we used to doing environmental sanitation, where as a young guy, we go to the yard, go to the gutter area, clean everything. It's a must for all tenants, those who are our tenants then, and even entirety of the street. Until later when, it stopped. And then what they do is on Saturdays, especially for market goers, those who sell in the market, the marketers, what they do, you see on Thursdays, some respect this, some don't respect this. And this is speaking to our own attitude. But can attitude do it alone without the government's intervention or government enforcement, rather?
No, attitude alone cannot do it. We also still need government enforcement. In the developed countries that we're talking about, government enforcement is what ensures that people don't break the laws anyhow. Over there, whatever law you break, there's a repercussion for it. I saw in the US, someone trying to park, and somebody told him, you cannot park there. And immediately the guy drove away. He didn't park there because he knows that if he parks there, he's going to pay a $500 fine. I mean, if you pay a $500 fine and it is ensured that you pay it, you will not do that kind of crime again. You will not commit that kind of crime again. So, yes, government needs to enforce. Government needs to send men out to enforce. And when they come, they need to be allowed to do their jobs. Because a lot of our people are very, very lawless, just like the last caller mentioned. Nigerians, we are very, very lawless. We need to rise up to the occasion, come together and build our nation. Cleanliness, they say, is next to godliness. If our environments are clean, we're able to do away with so many infectious diseases that are troubling us in this part of the world. Look at malaria, for example. Malaria is still predominant, not only because of the weather, but because of refuse, waste that we put in everywhere, used tires, water logging in our environment, bush, refuse. So we need to up our games and become a better environmentalist in our neighborhood. If
Alex,
you report somebody in the neighborhood now who is...
sorry, Japhet. Alex is in Amukoko and is joining us on the show. Alex, carry on.
It's Ahmed, not Alex.
Is what?
Ahmed.
Ahmed, okay, right. Sorry about that. Quickly, make your point.
Yeah, good one. Thank you. I'm happy to get you because...
sorry, Ahmed, could you speak up? I'm having difficulty to hear you.
Sorry, you said what?
Could you speak up? I'm having difficulty to hear you.
Okay, yes, I said I'm happy to get through that. The thing is, I think bulk of the issue is from the government, not from the people. You know, if there is a strong policy and a strong advocate on this, you know, the people will follow up. Because I used to make reference to the time of the governor of Lagos, Babatunde Raji Fashola. You know, there was a process that was followed, the environmental law, you know, the CAI and the indiscipline and all of it. Even I followed up to today. That even if somebody drops something on the floor, you know, I call him back that, look at a bin, and you can throw this thing there. And, you know, the thing is just, you know, the thing just, you know, get to another mix when Governor Body come in and everything was in shambles. And up till now, you know, Governor Sanwo-Olu was not able to, you know, properly put his foot on the ground, you know, to make everything work properly. So, and secondly, again, the issue of these white and khaki wearing officials that used to go around, they are not doing their work. I'm a living witness. They are not doing their work. There is a compound in the other side of my street. I believe that up to now they've not taken their sewage. And the thing is there, and these people will come, they will give them money, and that's all. We will not hear anything about it. We have went there to complain several times, and they are not doing anything about it. It's these officials that are, you know, making government look stupid, like if they are not doing their work. I'm sorry if that that word is.
Thank you very much, Ahmed. Thank you very much, Ahmed. I'm happy that you said some of the officials, not necessarily the person, you know, at the end of affairs, talking about the governor, because, you know, the governors will ensure that, you know, policies, programs, everything are planned out and then ensure that they're also implemented and enforced by the agencies that are being appointed. So do we expect the governors to, you know, be on the streets or be in various houses to ensure that these spaces are clean? Japhet?
No, we do not expect the principal to be on the field to ensure that these things are done. There are officers and agencies that are tasked with its responsibilities, and they are the ones that should carry out their responsibilities. They are the ones that should enforce. Let's not forget that we have a problem of enforcement in our country, and that's not only on environmental sanitation and other things as well. And the problem stems from the community itself. If the community members are, you know, apprised, they are informed, and they are open, you know, they open their arms to ensure that the law enforcement agencies carry out their duties, I'm sure they will carry out their duties. Now, let's take that Amukoko, for instance. I've personally been to a couple of compounds in that same Amukoko, that when I notified the environmental health officer that there's a particular place where they have pipes of water, potable water, so to say, running through gutters. And when they got there and they realized that even waste, the same compound did not have septic tanks, and their waste are channeled into the drainage. You know what they started doing? They started carrying their phones and calling some people in authority telling them that there are so many people in their compound trying to, eject them out of their compounds. And then they called and said the environmental health officers should take it easy with them. They should leave them. These are the people who vote for them. So you see, we do this a lot in this part of the world. I personally also reported a couple of, neighbors who are flouting environmental health laws. And then they tagged me as a bad person because I'm trying to do the right thing. And so we have this happening in our communities, in our environments. How much are we allowing enforcement agencies to carry out their duties, their tasks?
That's right. We have Funshaw from Minna, Niger State. Funshaw, please make your point.
Yeah, good morning, Brian.
Good morning.
How are you? And good morning to your guests. Yeah, you see, most of the callers have been blaming the government. Government, I know government too has their own problem, but we, the followers, too, do have our own. If the government put a law, don't do this, people will violate the laws. But the bottom line is, we, the followers, too, we should put in our best. If the government, see, like somebody likely called that if during what's called Babangida, if you throw something on the ground, you will be scared. If you are in the vehicle, you'll be scared to throw anything on the ground. But now, the law is no longer functioning. I remember when I was still more younger than this, during the Buhari Diagon regime, you dare not, in fact, let me use a Lagos example, you have to do a Lagos. You cannot even go and urinate nearby, you'll be scared to urinate. But now, everything just went, anybody can urinate beside the vehicle where they're selling food in the everywhere. Under the bridge, you see people loitering, selling food, and the same thing eating there, and urinating, defecating there. So how will this thing not come to spread easily? But if the government should, we are appealing to the government to enforce this law because of spread of this cholera. Because if the government didn't do that now, it can cause a serious epidemic in the country. Please, we are appealing to government to please feed them their food and see that they enforce all this law so
That's
that
right.
this thing will not go out of reach. This thing will not go out of
That's right, Funshaw.
control.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Funshaw from Minna, Niger State. Thank you. Japheth, you were talking about something that sounds to me like whistleblower. So if you see something, within your environment or somewhere, you should also say something. But how effective has whistleblowing, been? Not just talking about environmental, threats, but then talking about security situations and all of that. Do you think it's effective, and how do we change?
Yeah, whistleblowing should be effective in a society, that gives room for that. Overseas, one of the reasons why their security is tight, is watertight, is because a lot of people see something and they say something. In Nigeria, they tag you as the bad element in the community. They tag you as the bad element in the neighborhood. It's the grumpy one, or the bad one, or the one antisocial one, when you start blowing whistle. But we have all agreed that government should enforce our laws. So if government is to enforce our laws, then we have to whistleblow.
Yeah.
We need to say something when we see something.
Absolutely.
When government enforces our laws, there should not be a public outcry against the government. We should allow government to do their jobs. Government put in technical experts, technical people in charge of agencies, in charge of departments to ensure that the enforced things are done the way they should be done. But in Nigeria, there's usually a lot of public outcries when government wants to enforce our laws to the letter. So we should allow government to enforce our laws.
That's right.
And government should, of course, indeed enforce our laws.
That's right, Japheth. We have Ada joining us from Jos. Ada, good morning to you. Unfortunately, we lost contact with Ada. We hope you'll be able to, call back so you make your point. Japheth, very quickly, because we have less than 5 minutes to end this conversation. What about vaccination? I think I read somewhere. Actually, the NSCDC, leader said something like, "We don't have vaccine. We have run out of vaccines," and then they've made a request for more vaccines. Okay, I understand Ada is back. Ada, quickly make your point.
Okay. I want to say here that whatever we give to the environment is about what we get. If you ask me, I think we have to take responsibility. I'm not holding brief for the government. Our destiny is in our hands. Is it the government that will come and sweep our houses for us? You know, we have this attitude of not even observing personal and environmental hygiene. It's an issue. And you know, that during this rainy season, it's worse because cholera is a waterborne disease. And with the rains now, surface water usually overflows into most sources of water, such as wells, ponds, dams, even boreholes, if it's not properly situated or done, you know. So as much as we're talking about government to do its own part, let the individuals, let us also take responsibility. And then enforcement of laws help to regulate people's behavior. That's the problem we have in Nigeria. Some of these laws are there, the environmental laws are there, but they're not fully implemented. When the government tries to implement it, people start shouting that the government is hard on them.
That's right.
Look at cholera now. If it's not checked, before you know it, so many people will die. They said 30 and they still counting.
Yeah.
So let's not do for Nigeria. We get better.
Thank you very much, Ada. Japheth, I was going to ask about vaccines, which the NSCDC Director General said that we've run out of, and then they've made contact to cholera vaccines for cholera vaccines to donor agencies. So, what do you think? Where do you think we are now, and how dangerous is this to us, especially with the fact that we are not sure? Is it curable to start with? Quickly.
Yeah, there are vaccines for cholera all over the world, but the vaccines, as usual, are not enough to go around. There is an organization that champions the distribution of vaccines to countries that are affected by cholera. And they supplied us some, but in a country where you have over 200 million people, you are not going to get free vaccine for everyone, even if the vaccine is very cheap, because it's a lot of money when you put them together. So we do not have the vaccine right now, according to the NCDC, but they said they have requested for more. We don't know when that is going to come, and we don't know how many that is going to be, and that is the more reason why people should take their destinies into their own hands and ensure that they imbibe the practices that can help us prevent more spread of the outbreak. That's and right. Also control the existing spread of the outbreak.
Well, cholera, they say, has been almost eradicated in most developed nations worldwide. We hope that they will be able to eradicate it as they are racing to eradicate malaria, etc., etc. Public health expert and a medical officer of the health at Ifelodun LCDA, Lagos State, and Vice Chairman, Medical Guild Association of all Lagos State employed doctors, Dr. Japheth Olubogi. Thank you so much for your keenness of insight on the program today.
It's been my pleasure.